Welcome, everybody, to the Stone Down Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you today. We're going to talk about some Week 8 NFL, little trade deadline talk, some waiver wire talk. We're going to hook you up going into Week 9 and starting that stretch run towards the playoffs. Before we get into all of that, want to wish you all a happy Halloween and say a big thank you to all of our subscribers, folks who pop in the chat with us and come hang out with us. We really appreciate you and your support. As you can see, we are down a man today. Ramey is at his Halloween party, as he calls it. But I am joined here by Kyle. Kyle, the trade deadline was pretty active today. We saw, I think there was 15 trades. Which one stood out to you the most?
Well, I kept waiting for the Lions, some defensive help or something, and every alert or every notification that came wasn't then until it was, but it wasn't who I thought it would be. But I thought every playoff bound team, was loading up the caravan, and Brand Holmes wasn't doing nothing, especially when we need some secondary help and D-line help and some O-line depth because of some injuries. But DPJ coming back to the state of Michigan. He was a Michigan Wolverine, drafted in 2020, I think, 2020. And we lost Marvin Jones. So, kind of made sense that we needed somebody to fill the void. And I think he's going to be valuable in the return game as well. If something should happen to Khalif Raymond, or they can share him or something, but he's been pretty good on that. He's versatile. He can play inside and out wide. He's had 33% of his snaps in the slot with Cleveland this year and 67% out wide. What I'm really impressed is with his pass blocking. He is the third best graded wide receiver through Week 8 with a 77.9 pass grade. So that's also something that he can bring to that. We are a running team after all with Gibbs and Monty. So the one I didn't understand today was Montez Sweat to the Bears.
Yeah, that didn't make much sense to me at all. The Bears are not a contending team, and they've got some needs. Dude's going to be a free agent after the season. So unless you're certain you're going to re-sign him, what the hell are you giving up the draft capital for?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I know the Bears have 10 sacks on the year as a team, so they needed some help. Sweat's one of 7 players with at least 5 sacks in the last 5 seasons. With the likes of Chris Jones, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, Max Crosby, and Brian Burns. So in some good company there. It just bothered me that I saw Seattle grab some help. 49ers grabbed some help on the D-line. Rasul Douglas from Green Bay in the secondary went to the Bills. Of course, the Packers aren't going to trade him in division, but just that's somebody we could have used.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but it is what it is. When I saw that trade come across, the first thing that went across my mind was, did DPJ learn to play cornerback or what?
Right.
So,
yeah. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. I always see your last name and always think of Ray Bork. Dotson. Yeah, I guess it'll depend on, I haven't read anything else since, do you know anything about Samuel, Matt? I don't know if anything got announced about him or not because he went out hurt.
I've not seen anything. I almost want to say I give up on that wide receiver group just because the ball gets spread around so much. There were 10 players targeted last week. So nobody can really get the good week to week volume that you need in somebody that you're looking to consistently have in your lineup. I think this is essentially Dotson's ceiling game this year. I've got Dotson on a team, and it sucks because you can't trust him to put him in. Yeah. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, because Samuel was dealing with a foot issue the last couple weeks, and now they're calling it a toe. So I don't know if it's on the same foot or if they're related or not. Man, Sam Hall throws the ball a lot. I guess that's a positive.
He does,
You
but
know,
he throws it to everybody, which is
yeah,
a
he
good
does.
thing for real football. For fantasy
It
football,
is.
it's frustrating.
Yeah. But Chris, if Samuel loses some significant time and you're in a pinch because of some buys or injuries, yeah, sure, I'd start Dotson. But you know, lower your expectations because, as Matt said, the ball's thrown around so much. But Sam Howell didn't get sacked, or only got sacked once this week.
Dang,
Crazy.
that's
Yeah,
almost an indictment on Philly's pass rush.
I know, because that was rough. But yeah, let's roll into trade deadline. We're good, I think.
Yeah.
We'll just start with Lions. We're going to talk about 5 games this evening. The
Oh,
rookie
slow your
shined,
roll
man.
here. Hold
Oh,
on. Oh, I literally started Dotson every week and finally accepted he was a bust for a pick and benched him. Of course, he blows up for 25 to 30 points between Dotson and Christian Watson for a PPR flex. Damn. I am not envious of you having to make that decision, but we do what we got to do week over week. I think for me, I'm going to go with Dotson just because I trust Sam Howell more at quarterback to at least get him some targets, as opposed to Jordan Love at QB, who he's headed nowhere fast.
yeah. I'm leaning towards Dotson too. It's like a 55 Dotson, 45 Watson. Well, I'll say 60-40 Dotson. The Commanders can move the ball. You know, their offense is pretty damn good. The Packers, just without Aaron Jones being fully healthy and Jordan Love's deficiencies, I got to go with Dotson too.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Great question,
long
Chris.
season in Green Bay. Appreciate you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean they're giving up. They traded Rasul Douglas, so they're pretty much done. But the Lions, though, Raiders came to town for Monday Night Football. It was great. Ford Field was loud and rocking. Lions won 26-14. They're 6-2 going into their bye. Life's looking good if you're a Lion or a Lions fan. The rookies really shined last night, didn't they, Matt? Gibbs and Laporta.
Yeah, absolutely. And Laporta's been doing it all season long. Gibbs over the last 2 weeks leads the NFL in yards from scrimmage, which you love to see. Last night, 26 carries, 152 yards. He found the end zone. He had another 5 grabs for 37 yards, caught all 5 of his targets, 189 total yards. Granted, he's not going to get that workload every week, and given his stature, he wouldn't be able to hold up to that. But for this week, I'm okay with it. I think the big question, Kyle, is what is Gibbs's role when Monty comes back?
They're going to have to. That's going to be a tough problem for Dan Campbell and offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. It's tough. You watch Gibbs 5.8 a carry last night. That's excellent. I think they're just going to mix it up smart. I don't think they'll be stupid and go away from the hot hand if one of the two starts going off in a game. Yeah, you go with the hot guy. I think a lot of it will be them just who the opponent is and how the game flow is going. Who's got the hot hand? They're both excellent backs. Gibbs forced 11 missed tackles last night. That's just ridiculous. He had 12 carries that went 5 yards or more. Monty only has 20 of those this season with a higher workload. So he's pretty efficient. And Gibbs he has that ability to take a 5-yard play and turn it into a 40-yard play. And boy, do you need that to win in the NFL.
Absolutely. We got a couple of folks here in the chat. Sway's channel. Happy Tuesday, players. What's
Tuesday,
up, Buff?
Happy Halloween.
Thanks for joining us. And Chris is back. Moss or DeMarcado? Kyle, what do you think?
God. I'm still gonna go with Moss, even though Jonathan Taylor's in that backfield as well. He's just too good of a playmaker. I mean, you've seen that pretty much all season. He's been damn good. And DeMarcado, Arizona's going through some even more changes this season with Josh Dobbs getting traded to the Vikings. Kyler Murray's, I guess, going to be back soon. Sounds like Clayton Tune, the rookie's going to start this week. I guess there might be a chance Kyler starts. I read, but I wouldn't bet on it. It's going to take Kyler a while to get moved. I just don't. I'm going to go with Moss. I just don't like Arizona's situation.
Yeah, for me, this is Zach Moss easily. I mean, the man's second in the NFL in rushing yards. That's not somebody who you put on your bench. We've discussed this over the past couple of weeks with JT's return. Zach Moss has earned a role in that offense.
Yep.
So now he's a flex play for sure. With RB2 and maybe low end RB1 upside on any given week. He gets quite a few looks out of the backfield as well, and he's had a nose for the end zone this year. So yeah, Zach Moss for sure.
Definitely. ARSB was amazing again. Had 100 yards. That's the fifth time in the last 6 games. Andy was under the weather with an illness. He just said it was a cold, but and then Laporta, the tight end, been doing things all season. 10 targets, 8 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. It's just what's he got? 43 catches through 8 games. That's 10 more than any other rookie tight end through 8 weeks in the PFF era.
Yeah, he's been a straight badass and happy to have him. Goff looked okay. That interception was just a dumb throw on his part. And shit happens. It was a pick 6. Otherwise, 26 or 37, 272. He did throw a touchdown pass to Laporta. On a week-to-week basis, he's a low-end QB1, high-end QB2 with, we'll say top 5 QB upside, depending on matchup and location. On the other side, Jimmy G looked like ass. He did. That pick he threw where he just kind of lobbed it into double coverage in the end zone. Like, dude, what are you thinking?
That's his league leading 9th interception.
Yeah. As a direct result of his ineptitude, Devontae Adams gives you nothing. 1 for 11. Like you took him at the end of the first round, expecting him to be your anchor wide receiver. And Jimmy G, it's like he just shows up to the huddle and says, like, all right, I'll take the snap, but you motherfuckers are on your own after that. And he gives them nothing. He just decides he's not going to play.
Yeah, it was midway through the 4th when there was the 3 sacks out of 4 snaps, and they turned it over on their own 28th. And I was like, this team's done. They look like they're just watching them actually a whole game, Raiders game. It's ugly. Throw Aiden McConnell out there the rest of the year and see what he's got. Give him some experience.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs had a little success on the ground. He went 15 for 61. He averaged 4 yards a pop against a pretty damn good run defense. Like, I guess the question for me is, like, this was a close game the whole time. Why in the hell did he only have 15 carries?
Yeah. They're definite, like last year. That's what they did. That was their bread and butter. They ran the ball. Jacobs led the league in rushing last season. It's just they're not good. They're just not good. Their defense, while they were a 5th ranked pass defense, they allowed an NFL high 5 teams to fewer than 200 yards passing this season. Lions had 264 net yards passing. So they got over that, which is good, even with not a super game from Goff.
Well, and I mean, the Lions kind of shit on their shoes with the turnovers. Reynolds brothers both fumbled.
Yeah.
Get their ass and Reynolds hang on to the ball.
That one at the goal line with Craig Reynolds and
the
officials
did
that. That was fucked. That should have been called down on the field and then
right. His forward progress was stopped. Definitely. I will say, for those of you who are possibly in an IDP league, Max Crosby, that motherfucker can play. Kyle, you've got the pleasure of having him on one of your teams.
I do. In our multi-year keeper league where we got contracts. And in fact, I have him under contract, I think, for another year for like $9 a year or something cheap like that. It's great. But he anchors my IDP, my defense there on that team. And God, I love watching him. And he's from went to school in Eastern Michigan, local boy from Lapeer. I think it's Lapeer.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Max.
I didn't know he was from Lapeer.
Yeah, he's from Lapeer. But he donated $1 million to Eastern Michigan while he was here in town to his alma mater, and I believe they're gonna change the field name for him, name it him. But yeah, anyway, go Lions 6-2 at the break.
That's it.
That's like best case imaginable, I think, that we thought.
Oh, for
going
sure.
into the season.
Well, since Ramey's not here, let's shit talk the Colts a little bit. They got their dicks knocked in the dirt playing the Saints. Something I was curious about. JT got like 1 carry in the second half. If he's not hurt, then what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Zach Moss, we were talking about him a little bit earlier. He had another good game, found the end zone. He's second in the NFL in rushing yards with 589 and tied for first with 6 rushes for 20 yards or more. So he's been an explosive player.
Yeah. Yep.
Minshew got you 14, 15 points, which is really all you're asking from him. Josh Downs continues to make his presence felt. So
he threw the ball 41 times. That's more than I thought that they would ask of him. But yeah, 14, 15 points is good. Saints, though, they were able to score on explosive plays. Speaking of explosive plays, both of Kamara's scores came for more than 15 yards out.
Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed had that 58 yards, and Taysom Hill, the Swiss Army knife, was from the 20. So, Derek Carr had 300 yards, a pair of touchdowns. He did lose a fumble. It's probably his best game of the year.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, it's no secret I wasn't really high coming into the year on Derek Carr, and that outlook remains unchanged. Wide receivers made the plays, though, some nice catches and runs. Rashid Shaheed is the kind of player that I don't want on my team because he's got that incredible ceiling, but there's just no consistency there. And Derek Carr isn't the kind of quarterback at this stage of his career who's really going to lead that real explosive offense that you could have given the talent they have at wide receiver. Michael Thomas is quietly having a pretty solid year. Chris Olave is getting underutilized. He's getting a lot of targets, but they're shitty quality targets that can't do anything with, or you just can't catch. You're still not getting what you hope for out of him, but it's not like you can sell because you're going to be getting 50 cents on the dollar or something like that. He's a hold, and you hope things turn for the better in the second half of the season.
Yeah. And yeah, I have him on that same league I just mentioned a moment ago. And I have to start him this week. Well, I made a trade last night because I lost Kirk Cousins. So I made a nice trade for CJ Stroud. And it cost me Godwin and a rookie draft pick next year, but I think it's a great trade. So I'm happy about that.
I bet you are.
I started Taysom Hill last week, and that was I gambled on it. I was so scared that like Juwan Johnson being back Taysom Hill would lose a lot of his targets in the passing game, but nope. He carried the ball 9 times for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. And caught just 1 pass for 14 yards, only 1 target. So he was getting like 5, 6, 7 targets the last couple of weeks, and he's down to 1. So, but he's still somebody that can do some things there, and they always use him and utilize him at the goal line.
Yep, absolutely. And he has streaks like this every year, and if you got him, put him in your lineup and ride him while he's hot. Over the past 3 weeks, he's averaging something like 17 points a game. I think that's good for like tight end 2 or 3, something ridiculous like that. So ride the hot streak while you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, Colts. They just lost their third in a row. I got to figure something out.
They get Carolina this week. They should be able to win that game.
I was just going to say that too. They get to go against their former coach Frank Reich and see what's.
I'm starting both Moss and Taylor in a league, just due to some bye week issues. But I mean, it's a decent enough matchup to do it. They're both getting touches.
Yep, it is. It is. Next we got Bengals, 49ers. What happened to the 49ers? After starting 5-0, they have lost their last three. Cincinnati came to town and they won 31-17. Bengals are now 4-3, and 49ers are 5-3, headed into their bye, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the 49ers are on a bye.
That's correct.
Burrow. I mean, you got to kind of start there. He had a massive performance, 28 of 32 for 283. At one point, he had 19 straight completions, 3 touchdown passes, and no picks. He looked good. His main squeeze target there, Jamar Chase, 12 targets, 10 receptions, 100 yards on the nose, and a touchdown. Looked good. Higgins, after dealing with that rib injury and kind of being maybe a trade target this week, and it didn't end up going anywhere, but he had 5 catches on 6 targets for 69 yards. So looked good. When I don't know what's going on with the 49ers defense.
No, and they made a move today to improve it by picking up Chase Young.
They did. I mean, they have had just
that Niners defensive line reminds me of Detroit's defensive line in that they have Bosa, but not a whole lot else there to help him out. So he can be neutralized the same way as it is in Detroit with Hutch. Like you focus on Hutch and neutralize him and you're good.
Yeah, because they got
the defense. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Keep going.
The defense hasn't played great, but the offense hasn't really done a whole lot either. They've scored 17 points each of the last 3 games. Brock Purdy has 6 turnovers in that span. There's blame to go around everywhere. There is a pretty narrow target tree there. There were only 5 players targeted and 4 with receptions this week. Ayuk quietly having a top 10 season in receiving yards. He went 5 for 109 on 9 targets. He just hasn't really found the end zone. He's only got 2 touchdowns this year, and they were both in week 1. So that it is what it is. But if you've got him, you're happy with it. This was a Kittle game, 9 for 149. This is one of his 3 to 4 blow up games every season. And that going into it when you draft him, and that he's not going to be the most consistent dude week to week.
But when
CMC got his 17th TD. Yes, he blows up. And, last year it helped drive me to a championship because he blew up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Bengals. I mean, over their past 2 games, they've gone from dude to dude. Like
they're starting to look like
good.
Yeah, they're starting to look like the Bengals of the last couple seasons.
Yeah, Burrow looks like Super Bowl quarterback Burrow. He had 19 straight completions in the game, went for 283 and 3, and he looked nimble out there. It was nice to see. Mixon looked as good as he has all season. He had some
just for 43. Oh God, is it me having internet problems? Probably.
All right, we're good.
Jesus. Oh yeah, it's me. But he was 6 carries for 43 yards. Burrow was, if no one heard that, if the 2 viewers didn't hear that. So he's definitely moving around. I mentioned, I think last week, that they were taking a lot of snaps at practice under center, and he hadn't really been doing that with his calf injury, doing a lot of shotgun and pistol. But on the other side, Brock Purdy. 2 more interceptions, lost a fumble in the second half, definitely cost them a shot at, trying to win. His PFF grades have just tanked. In weeks 1 through 5, he was ninth in offensive grade among quarterbacks. Week 6, 7, 8, the last 3 weeks, he's 22nd now. Weeks 1 through 5, he was 13th in pass grade for quarterbacks. Now he's 26th. It's just not going well. In the last 3 games, he's had the second worst turnover worthy play rate. That's the percent of attempts that are turnover worthy plays. And now he's 15th. So he's just, he was 15th, I should say, in weeks 1 through 5. I misspoke. But second now. It's just something's happening there. Something's changed, and I'm not sure what it is.
Well, I mean, he's down one all-pro caliber player.
That's a
which
lot.
is what he needs around him to succeed.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you're talking about Williams.
Well, and Debo.
I don't know if Debo was an all-pro last year. I didn't think he was.
No, not last year. It was a couple of years ago.
Okay. All right. But not having your left tackle, who I think is an all-pro, probably hurts.
Hold that thought. We got Supersonic Loud Boy Enterprise in the house. What up, Sway?
What?
Little FLINT connection there.
Yeah. Flint Town. Bengals, 49ers. Good.
Yeah, I'm good there.
Sweet.
Titans, awesome. Falcons. Will Levis. Come out.
Beautiful.
Look great. He was 19 for 29, 238 yards. He had the 4 touchdowns, but even on those incompletions, he threw some pretty nice passes that should have been caught. 7 rushes for 11 yards. You're not going to look for a whole lot of that out of him. He is an athletic dude, but that's not really a whole lot of his game. The biggest beneficiary of Levis coming in was obviously DeAndre Hopkins. He had 4 for 128 and 3. He's a sell high or hold.
That's right.
That is the 4th time in his career that he's caught a quarterback's first touchdown pass.
That's cool. I think I did see that. Why am I blanking here on this game? Thank you. He looked good. Even that 33-yard touchdown to Westbrook Akine, he looked patient and he threw it off his back foot and let it go. I did see him hang a couple receivers out to dry. His completion percentage was 65.5%. Some of his throws weren't accurate, but his ADOT 12.3 was number 1 among QBs who played at least 50% of snaps. It's pretty good. 12.3. That's good. Big time throwaway was 7th in week 8. Dude, looked good. And they did it against Atlanta defense that was statistically a top 10 defense.
Come in and sling it. I mean, good for him. Let's slow our roll a little bit and not go expecting that every week. He's got a tough test on short rest going against Pittsburgh this week, so we'll see how he does against another pretty solid defense there. On the Atlanta side, Ritter, he went into concussion protocol and they sat him out. We're supposed to find out tomorrow who's going to start. Heineke come in and kind of did his thing. He was halfway decent. I know some people have looked at him as a possible waiver wire target. He's not somebody you want starting long-term anyway. Drake London went out with a groin injury. We'll see what's up there. The chat's being lively.
Got the Lions for the Super Bowl, don't we all?
I think back to earlier in the season and people were up in arms about Jahmyr Gibbs not getting a whole lot of touches and being run out there a lot. Bijan Robinson still only has 1 game with 20 or more touches this year.
Yeah.
It felt like Gibbs had 20 touches on that first drive last night.
Right. I think the 7 out of 9 snaps were to him. But I don't. Atlanta needs to make that change. Go with Heineke. If they stick with Taylor Heineke, I believe fully that Kyle Pitts and Drake London's, if he's good, should definitely have more upside in a more balanced offense with Heineke at quarterback.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, from the fantasy perspective, that's what we're looking for. Desmond Ridder he's not it.
No, he's turnover prone. He's had 7 turnovers in the past 3 weeks. It's just not working out well for him. Not at all. But
Derrick Henry had his second 100-yard game of the season.
Yeah, he looked good too. I watched all of Levis's throws and completions and all, and he's got a big arm, man.
Yeah, he does.
And there was a few times where he played like not a rookie, where he did some pump fakes and other things to get defenders out of position. It was cool.
He also puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
That's kind of strange. So he became the 3rd player ever to record 4 touchdown passes in his debut. He joins. So there's 2 other players. Do you know who they might be?
Fran Tarkenton and Marcus Mariota.
Yep, nice. Hopefully,
Hall of Famer and a scrub.
Right. I was gonna say, hopefully he follows Tarkenton's career more than Mariota's. So, but it was nice to see the offense with Tennessee be different. Open up. They were so much more versatile, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Balanced. They weren't one-dimensional.
Yeah, multi-dimensional was where I was trying to go there. I kept wanting to say multi and couldn't think of the second word. So it's cool. It's good to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quarterback in there that can push the ball down the field.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill ain't doing that shit.
Nope. Not at all.
All right, we give them fuckers enough love. What are we on to next? Eagles and commies.
Eagles. Good one. Always a tough matchup. Eagles got this one 38-31 in Washington, improving to 7-1. Commanders fall to 3-5. Commanders lost for the 5th time in 6 games. Howell, of course, on a fantasy perspective, awesome. 39 of 53. Dude, it's just ridiculous how much he throws the ball for just under 400 at 397, 4 touchdowns and a pick. And he was only sacked once. Boy's been the most sacked quarterback. He was at 40 going into week 8 and only once against the Eagles. Like I started Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick in my multi-year keeper league, thinking that would be huge for me. And Hassan Reddick got me a sack, but Sweat didn't get nothing. But Howell looked good. Jesus. Jahan Dotson, we talked about with the 10 targets, 8 receptions, 108 and a touch. Jamison Crowder, name you haven't heard in a while, probably.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I mean, don't rush out to pick him up. This ain't happening every week, but he had 7 targets, caught all of them for 95 yards and a touchdown. And scary Terry McLaurin, 12 targets, 5 receptions, 63 yards and a touchdown. And Logan Thomas got in the action too. 8 I mean, when you throw the ball 53 times, everybody has 8 fucking targets.
Sure. They're just, out of those 8 targets, maybe 5 are decent, something you can work with targets.
Right.
Brian Robinson is just continuing his slide into Bolivian. He's got 10 or fewer carries in 5 of the last 6 games. He's only got 2 touchdowns in that span, and after a hot start, he's really cooled off. They're a team that can put up some points in any given week. They're a team that play the Eagles tough. The Eagles, they give up a lot of receiving yards. They give up a lot of points to receivers. That's the weakness of their defense, and they're hoping that Kevin Byard can fix that. We'll see how it goes, or at least help fix it.
Yeah. Hurts looked great too, of course. Hurt his knee there. I can't remember when it was, but still stuck in there and was 319 yards, 4 touchdowns. He didn't throw any picks. And you knew something was wrong with the knee because he only had 2 rushing attempts for 7 yards. He had 3 consecutive games with a rushing touchdown, and that got snapped. So hopefully that doesn't affect my bet with Ramey, because he needs 4 more rushing touchdowns in the next, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. AJ Brown, though, is just, dude, I wish I would have been able to get him this year. I don't think you have him either, do you, on any team?
Nope, I sure don't.
Sure would have been nice.
There ain't no way in hell anybody saw this coming. I mean, I was expecting roughly a repeat of what he was last year. The offense there in Philly has taken a small step backward. There's nothing wrong with that. That just shows just how damn good they were last year.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith, he's showing signs of life. Had 7 for 99 and a touch. It's his 3rd game over 75 yards, and he scored in 2 of them. But you need a little bit more consistency. I think people were coming into the season expecting a 1A, 1B scenario, and it's been AJ Brown is the clear number 1 there.
Clear. Yeah. And now he got that record, 6 consecutive games with 125 receiving yards in all those 6 games. Just nuts. 130 and 2 touchdowns yesterday, and he caught all 8 of his targets yesterday as well. They got a big test, though, because the Cowboys are coming to town next week. So I know that'll be a hot division game. I wonder if I'd
assume that's a Sunday night game.
That's my guess too. It was a Sunday. Oh,
let's look. Nope, 4:25.
Was it
Sunday night is Bills Bengals? But we'll talk more about that on Thursday.
Also good one. Yes,
do. Dallas Goedert's continuing to disappoint this year. He did have 7 targets, but he only had 4 for 36. He's only got 2 games over 75 yards this year. And he was tight end 5, tight end 6 off the board. Given where you took him, you were expecting a little bit more than what you're getting out of him.
Yeah, same. I have him in 2 leagues, and it's not going well. He had that, a couple weeks ago he went off, but it's tough when AJ Brown's having just a killer career year. So he's gobbling it all up there. So I beat you last week in a league. And I beat you.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
And I beat you in 2 leagues this week. You had a little run on me there all of last season and a game earlier this season. But now the tide has turned, motherfucker.
Well, see, what happened was in the podcast league, like most
Jared
of the people
there got you 12.
Right. He didn't give me many points. And like most of the people that are doing shitty, it's all like condensed to that team. So like that team is bearing the brunt of my shitty draft day decisions. The other leagues, like I lost Nick Chubb and I lost Mike Williams there in the keeper league.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
I'm doing because it's relevant to the conversation, Mr. Is it bad that I lost 2 in Achilles and you lost Chubb? Which one's worse?
I was just having a conversation about that, but in the NFL,
you were trying to garner some. You were trying to get simpy for yourself, and that, I ain't got no simpy for you.
Yeah, but that's all right. I enjoyed beating you. I was close there because Anzalone kept when he got that second sack. I logged back on and looked at the points. I'm like, is he gonna fucking beat me? Because Anzalone got 2 sacks tonight. But unfortunately, Goff just had a regular type game and not a super.
It was game. I mean, it is what it is. I think I'll still be ahead of you in the standings in that league because I score more points than you. Because even though I lost those 2 key players, like my team is still better. We're just talking about a 1-game sample. You see, what really matters is what happens over the course of the season. And then even then you got to drill down farther into who scored the most points, because that's like how you know which team is better. And then if I'm still not beating you, I'll come up with like another 4th tiebreaker. This like, well, all right, I'm, a little bit taller, or
you're rambling.
I get like a champion's advantage.
No, we're both 11 and 5. We're both tied for second with another guy at 11-5 in that league. We do 2 matchups a week, so that's why there's more games for anybody wondering. So whatever. And you do have me by 230 points exactly.
That's a lot.
And it is. It's quite a bit. You're 92 behind the leader, which is Austin, the Vinegar Strokes. But anyway, we're getting off topic here. Sorry.
Yep.
I just wanted to give you some shit. Waiver wire. Get her started.
My first one is going to be Devin Singletary. That backfield is it's a 50-50 split now. Damian Pierce has been a disappointment this season, and over the course of the season, Singletary has seen his snap share rise, and he gets a good deal of the passing down work as well. So he's more valuable in PPR than standard, but he's definitely worth an add. I think he's only owned in around 50% of leagues too. So there's a chance he might be out there.
All right. I like Singletary. That's good. We just talked about Sam Howell, of course. He's just rostered in over 30% of leagues in ESPN. Clear leader in dropbacks with 369. Mahomes is second with 342. His quality of play hasn't been super great, but he is fifth in passing yards, and he is tied for sixth in touchdowns. So there's some appeal there for fantasy. Just yesterday, he finished, let's see, as a top 8 fantasy quarterback in 3 out of the past 4 weeks. So with injuries and buys, he's somebody you can plug in, and you know he's going to get you. You know your 15 is secure. He's got a good floor. He's not. I don't think he's really worth having on your roster, but unless they're underdogs or it's a close game, I'd start him. Because there's going to be a bunch of those catch-up points. I mean, he threw the ball 53 times. That's just sick.
Yeah, they do chuck it.
Somebody you could plug in. Like I said, if it's expected to be a close game or they're underdogs, he's somebody I would look for.
Yeah, my next one is Khalil Shakir. He's going to be moving into the slot there in Buffalo. With Dawson Knox out, I think they're going to run more 11 personnel, and that is going to make them faster collectively as an offense. And I think that's what the offense has been missing this year. Running 12 personnel with Kincaid and Knox out there, they're too slow. And they used Gabe Davis differently last week, and it finally made sense in that he's not somebody who can just run out there or go out there and run by a cornerback who's already giving him a 12-yard cushion. He's not that kind of fast, but that was what Buffalo was asking him to do.
Yeah.
They got him the ball closer to the line of scrimmage. With Shakir in there, he's somebody who can push down the field. And with him in the slot, he can work the seams, and him and Dalton Kincaid can play off one another. I think there's a chance there. Buffalo has used slot receivers quite a bit in the past when, who was that dipshit? Cole Beasley was there. And I think there's some upside there with Shakir and his speed.
He's fast. Brett Coleman loves Khalil Shakir. I remember catching some because he went to Boise State, and I watched him. He's a burner, man. The guy's fast. But I've watched some games there with Boise State. Well, I won't say watch some games, but some highlights and stuff. Dude's good. This was a few years ago because he's not a rookie. No, he's not a rookie this year. He was drafted last year, I believe.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'm pretty sure.
Your turn. Who else you got?
Okay. Jesus. Well, I'll go with Demario Douglas, New England Patriots wide receivers, only rostered like 1% of rosters right now. But I think Kendrick Bourne's done, right, for the season.
Yep, torn ACL.
Yep. So he is New England's top graded wideout on PFF with a 75.9. No other wide receiver on the team's over 60. He's the second most targets, receptions, and receiving yards, all behind Bourne. So you can see that he's just going to take over. His target rate ranks first on the team and 22nd among all wide receivers. It's 24.3% target rate. So he's somebody I'd put a claim in for. I put a claim in for him in one of my leagues this week.
Which one?
Not telling.
Come on, be a sport.
Yep. And he was pretty much just 11 personnel, but he's now started playing in 12 as well. He should continue to play at least 75% of the offensive snaps. I don't love the quarterback situation or the offense situation there so much, but solid waiver target with a he's out there and he's getting targets, 24% of them.
Volume is king.
Let's see. Kip said, what about Josh Downs? I think we've talked about him probably the last couple weeks.
If he's available in your league, pick him up.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew loves throwing to him, and he's somebody who can do something with the ball once he gets it.
He sure is. Yeah, he's becoming a very nice slot receiver in this league. Very
living
nice.
in the slot.
Living in the slot. All right, you next.
Will Levis. Touched on it earlier. Do not expect a repeat performance on Thursday night of what you got on Sunday. But it's within the range of outcomes that maybe he is half a badass. He's a rookie. There's going to be growing pains, but I would rather have him over Desmond Ridder. I'd rather have him over Zach Wilson. And if he comes out and he plays well, I don't think Tannehill sees the field again.
No, or Malik Willis for that.
Malik Willis, I mean, shit, he was getting booed on the two plays he was out there.
Yeah, which is kind of shitty that the fans did that just because they wanted Levis out there, but they're a team, and I know a lot of Titans were upset about that, but it's football. That's what goes on when you're playing in front of 60,000 people every week. But I mentioned earlier his ADOT was number one among quarterbacks this week at 12.3. That's the seventh highest ADOT this season.
No shit.
So pretty cool. I don't, he's unlikely to keep scoring these many fantasy points, like you said, on this few of passes. But again, I'd take him over the quarterbacks you mentioned as well in a heartbeat, and Russell Wilson. I'll throw him on there because I fucking hate him.
That's a good enough reason for me.
It is. He's just a piece of shit. I don't care for him. Anybody else?
Zach Charbonnet. He was in on a season high 32 of 57 snaps this week. We'll see if, part of it is due to KW3's injury or if they're going to really start working him in. They didn't draft him in the second round to put his ass on the bench.
Yeah. Yep. We have 5 carries for 53.
And he does something with the ball when he gets it too.
He does.
He's a beast.
And of course, we watched him at Michigan for a minute there, and then he transferred to UCLA, and you caught him again. He was a fine collegiate player. I was sad that he transferred from Michigan, but that is the way college football or college sports is now. You just transfer.
Oh, good for them. Coaches can leave. Why can't they?
This is true. I'll throw one more on there just for this week for maybe a bye or injury. Derek Carr. I know you don't love him, but I think they got a strong matchup against the Bears this week. They give up an average of 18 points to a quarterback so far this season. And if I'm trying to fill in an injury or a bye, I'll take 18 fucking points.
Yeah, that's it. And when you're talking about quarterbacks in that range, you're really hoping for 225 and 2. That's 15 points. Yep. If you can get me that, I'm happy. Or if you're somebody who's streaming quarterbacks, week to week due to some of the injuries that have happened, you get me 15 and I can work with that.
Yeah. Faux show. But yeah, he's not somebody you're going to, start every week. But for this week against the Bears, it's a thought. He's a great option.
I don't know. The Bears got Montez Sweat now, who Apparently got lost on his way to Detroit, but whatever.
It's a bummer.
Maybe he'll do something there. Come on, Holmes. Fucking DPJ. Really?
Yeah, I really thought that. I mean, they got him for a nothing. It's fine.
Right,
but whatever. Maybe he just, like I said, one of the great pass blocking receivers in the league. Maybe that'll help open up some more running lanes.
I mean, run blocking?
Yep.
Awesome.
Run blocking. I don't know why I said pass blocking. Did I say pass blocking earlier?
You sure did, but I let it slide.
Nice.
I was like, well, I ain't going to call him out on that. And then you just double down on the wrong.
Yeah. Well, you should have said that. So, all righty then. Guess what time it is? It is review the podcast standings.
See,
let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen for you fellas.
Pardon me while I whip this out.
Oh, hold on, I gotta get this crap off of here. There we go. And then this logo. There we go. I'm in second, 6-2, tied for first, but I'm in second with points. And all the way down here towards the bottom, we have Ramrod, Andrew, Ramey, who's not here, lost to Fanatics, one of the worst teams in the league. You guys are both 3-5. Ramrod has more points than you. What is going on? Why do you guys suck so bad at fantasy football?
See, what had happened is like the players that I chose for my team, they're not performing in the way I expected. And that makes it kind of difficult to win.
It sure does. Again,
like I said, all my shitty decisions are isolated to one team.
We'll see. Again, look at that. I am still only been scored on 795 points by far. I mean,
right.
It's one of the reasons I'm up there, but not all the reasons. But
still, that's ridiculous, dude.
No one's even close.
Yeah, you put the code in.
Yep, I put the code up, down, down, left, right, BA start. I think maybe.
It's rough. It's rough. Let's move on to something more positive. Oh, we got Blue Yay back.
All right, cool.
What's going on? Welcome back.
What's going on up there in Toronto? It's snowing here in Michigan. Is it snowing there?
Don't be creepy, Kyle.
Well, I mean, it's already been confirmed. He lives in Toronto. I mean, what the fuck? Ramey was the one that was creepy and stalked him.
If we're not handing out candy, I'll be sad.
If I'm not, I live in an apartment complex, and they don't really do that right here.
It's not an apartment complex; it's a retirement community.
Yes, I forgot. Retirement. Snowed here earlier for a bit. All melted though. Yeah, I don't.
Nice.
It's gonna be 40 here tomorrow. Well, hang on. It's not snowing heavy, but it sucks to be a kid out trick or treating right now. Well, for the next 7 minutes on the eastern side of the state.
We always had all kinds of snow when we were kids to go trick or treating.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Now they get to experience what we did. I love the snow. This is my favorite time of year. Thanksgiving, best meal of the year I get. I look forward to it every year.
Thanksgiving is amazing. I do love Thanksgiving. Our daily fantasy from Sunday. Ramey's finally been dethroned. I finally got a win. I'm 2-6. Matt, you suck. 1-7.
Yeah,
what are you doing, man?
Well, I'm trying to.
I'm seeing a theme here. Where like I'm really good at stuff. Well, 2-6 isn't really good, but
yeah,
But the important
keep
thing
things in perspective
that we discussed before Sunday was one of us has to win and dethrone Ramey from his 5 in a row, and that was accomplished. It wasn't like you said. It's not about the money anymore, or at least that week.
It's about pride. My pride is still kind of not great, but we'll get there next week.
Right.
Plus, also you guys are kind of new to it, and so I've been intentionally taking shittier players to help with your
right.
confidence or whatever.
Help with our development and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing DFS for a couple seasons now. It's all good.
I
Ramey's the one that's
sacrifice. You could just say thank you.
yeah. And if you checked out Thursday's show, our preview, we gave our aces, deuces, and locks. And whoo, Matt, this is just not your week, bro. You went 1 and 4. 2 and 3 for me. Ramey on the positive side for once at 3 and 2. And the overall season record, you can see I'm whipping your butts at 24 and 16. Here, let me throw that back up just in case you missed it.
All right. Yeah. That's
So you're under 500. Ramey's under 500. Kyle's firmly above 500. Everybody
all
should
right.
just listen.
I'm within
Just listen
striking
to me.
distance.
Just listen to me, folks. I got you covered. Not sure.
All
what
right,
Matt
there,
Ramey-
smart ass. I got one for you. Check it. What do you guys think about Tony Pollard for Justin Jefferson?
Hmm. I'm leery on what's going to happen there. I'm leery on what's going to happen with Joshua Dobbs being probably the quarterback there.
I'm less concerned about that. Coming into the season, like the big thing with Tony Pollard was efficiency. He was great last year because he was really, really efficient. And now that he's having to be the man, that efficiency is gone. You've also got Dallas that's played in some lopsided games, so he's not getting the receptions that you were hoping for coming into the season. Josh Dobbs is by no means a Pro Bowler or anything like that, but he seems to be a halfway competent NFL quarterback. Not somebody you're happy about starting, but when you put him in an offense with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison, it's kind of hard to screw that up. I'll take the Justin Jefferson side of that deal and choose to believe that the rumors that he'll be back sooner rather than later are true.
Yeah. Sounds good. Great question, man. Check it. Love it. If you haven't subscribed, give us a like and subscribe, man. Appreciate that. Great question. And Blue Jays, you're back. Eckler or Kelsey, rest of season, half PPR? I think I just have to say Kelsey, and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't really have to give much of an explanation. It's Travis fucking Kelsey. Him and Mahomes are just they see the field the same. They're on the same page. I just don't like the Chargers this year, but Ramey checked in. But yeah, Kelsey rest of season 100% Blue Jays.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Kelsey is in the superior, more organized offense. People keep dropping with the Chargers left and right. We don't know how long Jordan Palmer is going to be out. They got some problems there this year. Eckler can only do so much. I think too, Kelsey does a better job of doing more with his targets than Eckler does. And tight end is a much scarcer position.
Definitely.
So give me that elite player at a very scarce position.
I agree. Ramey checking in from Halloween. Must be done handing out candy to little children.
Remember, we're rated R here, Kyle.
Thoughts about losing to the worst team in the league? Miss you, boys. We wish you were here tonight, man. Yeah. Well, I think somewhere over Dwayne Bowe's actually the worst team in the league. He's 12th, but yeah, that's pretty bad. And you needed Devontae Adams to get more than 11 yards.
Yeah. He played the worst actively managed team.
Yes.
And the shrewdest trader out there.
And Kip also agrees with Kelsey. Yeah, it's unanimous. Exactly. Been a fun night. Talked some games, talked some player performances. We gave you some waiver wire targets. Some good, mine, some bad, Matt's. But, you follow who you want. I mean, I can bring the tracking records back up again and show everybody how well I'm doing. But can't wait for Thursday. Can't wait for
championship
Thursday.
belt
Ramey
over
says.
my shoulder.
Yeah, that's just some shit you picked off the internet. That ain't real.
No. That's big gold, son.
Yeah, you read them books over your shoulder?
Yep, read them all. You play with those dolls over your shoulder?
Yep.
Take them with you in the tub?
I sure do. Dude, I don't. This is cool as heck. Lions, One Pride, Fisher Price, the little people set. Dude, I mean, I support, my team. I have some other dolls, but we don't need to break out the Seinfeld. But anyway, yeah, heck yeah, good week.
It was
good week.
I'll take
us back home. Thursday. We'll be back Thursday for our Week 9 preview, 7 p.m. Eastern. Same channel. Thumbnails already ready there for you if you want to go ahead and hit the notifications for that so you don't miss that on Thursday night at 7. We usually run about an hour, same as tonight. Enough time for you to get a snack and get on the couch to watch Thursday night football. Again, thank you to our subscribers, viewers, watchers, anyone that interacts with us on here. We do really appreciate it much. We could not do this without you. You guys definitely motivate us to do better each week. Matt, you got anything?
You know what? I think you covered it all. Don't forget to join us Sunday morning at 11:30 for Tinker Time. We'll help you out with those last-minute lineup decisions. Yeah. Getting ready to head into Week 9.
Some toughies, got some buys, a lot of injuries to deal with. So we'll help you with navigate through that. And then we do have a website. I don't talk about it on here much. It is www.stonedonsportspodcast.com. We are on all the socials as well. Well, most of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're Stoned On Sports Podcast. And Twitter, or X, I should say now, is Stoned On Sports 1 at Stoned On Sports 1. But I'll post some things on there on the website. You can always get our aces and deuces and locks picks and some other stuff we put on there as well, and all the links to our episodes as well.
Jesus.
Thanks, Blue Jays. Appreciate it, man. Hope you can join us again Thursday evening. We're going to take it away. I'm ready to go watch a World Series game. How about you? And eat some dinner.
Yeah. That message from Blue Jays was a while ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad.
That was the longest outro ever.
It was.
Ramey's looked short. We appreciate you stopping by, everyone. We'll talk to you Thursday.
Have a good night, folks. Later.